Good morning, friends. Today I'm going to teach you the first chapter from your Flamingo textbook, The Last Lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet. In this story, The Last Lesson, the author talks about Franco-Prussian War. Now, what is Franco-Prussian War? That Franco-Prussian War occurred in year 1870 to 1871, in which Germany occupied two French districts of Alsace and Lorraine. Germany defeated France and they captured their most important district called Alsace and Lorraine. By an order from Berlin, German language was imposed on the French speaking people of Alsace and Lorraine. Look, the story says everybody loves his language. Suppose you are asked to speak that language which is not yours. Suppose, take an example, being a Gujarati, you are asked to speak the language that is not yours. So, it becomes a problem. Suppose, just imagine we have to follow the language of our dictator. In this chapter, the thing is same. French people, they were not allowed to speak their own language, as they had to learn German language. And so what is the problem that occurs when these people had to learn the language of their ruler? So this story highlights the dismay and distress of M. Hamel, his students and the villagers caused by that order from Berlin. This is a story about two most important characters, M. Hamel, the French teacher, and French, a village student, who never cared for his language, who never tried to learn French language. But when he came to know that his teacher would have to go away from his village, as an order was passed, an order was given from Berlin that now onwards only German language would be taught. At that point of time he felt great love for his language, that really he felt very bad that he had not learned that language. Let's go through the summary point by point. The first point is late for the school. Early morning, when French was going to the school, the narrator, here French is the narrator who is telling us the story, started for school very late that morning. He feared his school teacher, Mr. Hamel, would question the students on the participle. Look, what happened? French already was late for the school, and his teacher, M. Hamel, he had given them some homework on participle, and he had not prepared it. He thought it is better to go away. It is better not to attend the school. But then he thought he would get a punishment. So it is better to attend the school. So the narrator did not know even the first word about participle. He feared a scolding. He thought he would be scolded. It is better go and attend the school. He thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. First of all, he thought if he would go, he would have to bear scolding. It is better he would enjoy the beautiful day out of the school. The weather was very warm and bright. On his second thought, he decided otherwise. He thought it is better I should attend the school, otherwise it would create a big problem for him. That punishment would come in any form. So he hurried off to the school. And when he reached the school, before he reached the school, he had to pass through a bulletin board. As French walked past the town hall, he saw a big crowd in front of the bulletin board. Now, when he was passing from the town hall, there is a bulletin board where most of the news about the village and the town are published. For the last 2 years, all the bad news had come from there, and the people got the news of the lost battles and other important information only from there. So that was the place from where people of those villages, of those provinces, used to get news about the world, about their country. But generally, the news was negative about defeated battles. Now, when French reach the school, usually school is full of hustle and bustle, a lot of noise. But when he reached the school, when the school began, there was a lot of hustle and bustle. The opening and closing of desks and lessons orally repeated loudly in unison. So this is a general scene when French reaches the school. But today when he reached the school, the whole class was silent. There was pin of silence in the class. And French could depend on the commotion to get to his desk. When this kind of noise was there, he could count on that noise and reach his place very easily without being noticed. But now, when he went in before every day, he blushed and was quite frightened. He was frightened. The reason was that when he reached, everybody had occupied their places, and when he reached, he felt very odd that he would be scolded. But nothing sort of that thing happened. He was allowed to go to his place. His teacher, M. Hamel, didn't punish him. Not a word of scolding. He just told him that you go and take your place. But nothing happened. No punishment. M. Hamel saw and asked. He saw and asked him very kindly to take his seat. M. Hamel was very polite today, as he knew that he was about to give the last lesson of French. M. Hamel was in formal clothes that he wore only on inspection and prize days. So on this day what happened? Mr. Hamel was in a green suit, and this suit was worn by him only on inspection day and prize day. The whole school seemed quite strange and silent. The most surprising thing was the presence of the village elder. Generally, village elder never come to the school, but today, to bid respect to this great teacher, the elders of the village they were attending his lecture. They were sitting quietly on the back benches. M. Hamel mounted his chair and spoke in a grave, gentle tone. So now M. Hamel started his lecture, saying that, my children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. He told them that an order had come from Berlin that only German would be taught in the school of Alsace, and the new master would join the next day. It was the last lesson in French. So he told them that, students, I'm going to teach you this last lesson, means this chapter, for the last time. He wanted them to be very attentive. Now, sudden love for French. Next point is sudden love for French. The students who were never attentive towards French language, suddenly they felt a lot of love for it. The narrator felt sorry for not learning his lessons in French. French felt very bad that now from tomorrow onwards, he would not be able to learn French language. So he never liked his book. He did not have any interest in grammar and history. But now he developed a fascination for them. Earlier he was less interested in French language, but now he started liking it. He felt very bad for it, that why he did not learn that language earlier. Even he started liking Mr. Hamel. He felt a lot of love and respect for his teacher. The idea that he would not teach them anymore made French forget all about his ruler. When the students were not doing homework, they were beaten by M. Hamel with his iron rod. But now at this point he was not afraid of him and his ruler and his iron rod. He felt that it is better he would continue teaching them. He even forgot how cranky his teacher was. He forgot at that point of time that his teacher was very strict, but he felt that he wanted him and French language. Now it was his turn to recite, but he got mixed up and confused. M. Hamel did not scold him. French was asked to read, but he got confused. But M. Hamel did not punish him, did not scold him, because he knew that it was going to be the last lesson of French language to them. So it is better he should teach them lovingly, very politely. M. Hamel showed his concern that people of Alsace generally gave no importance to French. He was very grieved, he was very serious, he was feeling very bad that the people of this village had given no importance to this language. They put off learning their own native language. He felt very bad that the people of that village did not learn the language very seriously. French was not the only exception. Many others were also guilty on this account. On this thing, so many students were also feeling very bad that they did not learn this language. He declared that French language was the most beautiful language in the world. It was the clearest and most logical language. They must guard it. They felt if we don't protect our language, then we would not be able to protect our traditions, our heritage, and our culture. They must guard it among themselves and never forget it. And it appeared that M. Hamel wanted to give them all he knew before going away. And it appeared that Mr. Hamel wanted to teach them everything before he would leave that village. And on that day, every student, friends, and all the elders, they were trying to give their best to learn the last lesson. So all at once the church clock struck 12, and now it was a time to relieve the school. The trumpet of the Prussian soldiers sounded under their window. M. Hamel stood up, very pale, in his chair. Now it was time to leave. He tried to speak, but something choked him. He could not speak. Then he turned to the blackboard. He took a piece of chalk and wrote as large as he could. He wrote on the board, Vive la France. It means long live France. That he was a real teacher who wanted to make students feel the importance of language. Then without a word he made a gesture to them with his hand, saying that school is dismissed, you may go. Now let's go through the main points of the summary one by one. Look, the first thing that occurred, French started for school very late. And he had the fear that if he, as he had not learned participle, he would be scolded. Second point, he feared a scolding from his teacher, M. Hamel. He had not prepared his lesson on participle. There was a big crowd in front of the bulletin board near the town hall. Now this is the important point. Why? Because people had gathered at the town hall. Why? From the bulletin board, they used to get most of the important news about their country and their village. Most of the news were regarding the lost battles. Next point, usually the people received all kind of news from there. When he reached his school, he found it unusually quiet. Generally there was a lot of hustle and bustle in the school, but when he reached the school, it was very quiet. The usual hustle and bustle was not there. He went inside the classroom before everybody. When he went inside the class, he was blushed. He felt very bad, that he felt he would be scolded. But nothing sort of that happened. He was frightened. But nothing happened. M. Hamel very kindly asked him to go to his place quickly. French was surprised to see many village elders sitting on desks at the back. In that lecture, along with the students, many elders were there. They had come to attend the last lecture of Mr. M. Hamel. At last, M. Hamel broke a shocking news to the student that an order had come from Berlin. that all the schools of French district of Alsace and Lorraine would teach German henceforth. So, in this point, M. Hamel gave them the news that now their villages were under the territory of German army, and they had made an order that they would have to learn German language now onwards. A new teacher would come to teach German. M. Hamel announced that he would leave that school for good the next day. He was delivering his last lesson in French. M. Hamel was a transformed person now. Earlier he used to be very strict, but today he felt it is better I should give this lecture in the most polite manner so that students would get as much knowledge in French. He did not use his ruler. Today he did not use his iron rod. When French got mixed up and confused, when French was asked to recite something in French, he was not able to speak it properly. But at that point of time, he was not scolded. M. Hamel regretted that the people of Alsace were quite indifferent to the learning of their mother tongue French. M. Hamel felt very bad that why these people are not interested to learn their own language. Look, students, when we learn our own language, we are not learning the language only, we are learning our culture and tradition. Our culture and tradition are more important because when Britishers they ruled over us for 200 years, they made their best effort that we Indians would forget our culture and accept their. But still in India, we are kind of people that we have not left our culture. Still we are following our heritage, our traditions, our rituals. He called upon his students and the village elder to guard French among themselves and never to forget it. He requested all the students and the elders that this is the time that when we are enslaved, that we should not forget our language. We should try to respect our language, learning it more, because by doing it, we are protecting our culture. And he declared that French was the most beautiful language in the world. He said that French was most logical and beautiful language. Look, students, it happens. Everybody in the world, in the history of every individual, he or she starts speaking any language first. Then he or she would start writing, then reading. But for us, it is most important when you are able to express yourself in the language you are most comfortable, you feel your best. Sometimes what happens when you want to share your best of your ideas, you share it in your mother tongue. Why? Because you love that language a lot, and that love is seen on your face, in your gestures also, in your feelings also. So at last, M. Hamel wanted to speak, but he could not. Emotions choked him. He took a piece of chalk, wrote on the blackboard as large as he could. He wrote, "Long live France." So he just wanted to teach the students as well as the elders that if you learn your language, if you protect your language, you would be able to protect your culture and traditions. Then he made a gesture with his hand asking them to go out. The school was dismissed. So, in this chapter, students, we have learned what is the importance of language, what is the importance of our mother tongue to us. For us, mother tongue is everything. I am not saying, look, if you go to America, there, for them, speaking English is their own culture. In India, we have 22 national languages. In India, we have, we are used to speaking our own languages where we are more comfortable, and we have to be. But what happens when we are imitating other culture? I would say, never try to imitate the culture of other country. First of all, it is better for us that we follow our own culture, our own tradition that are the best in the world. So, I hope you have understood the summary of this chapter. This chapter just says the same thing: respect our own language, respect each and every language in the world, but first of all, respect your own language. If you respect your own language, it will be easy for you to respect others. Goodbye, take care.